Hazard pay heats up, but have you also considered FFCRA? Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is LA. Hope you're good and safe. This is Afternoons LA that starts every day at 3:30 with the check. Then goes to hazard pay at 4 o'clock. The next FPUC, and finally rent assistance. Big exciting news about hazard pay and a lot of confusion overnight as people are starting to refer back to that tweet on Friday for the president and my reporting of it, and they're a little bit confused about where hazard pay has gone and where it hasn't gone. Let me get right to the details. Hazard pay is memorialized in the HEROES Act, which is written by the Democrats, passed by the House and currently in the Senate. Hazard pay is part of a 120-page bill. It's longer than War and Peace, and it basically has pages after pages after pages in there. It defines essential workers over pages 45 to like 55, page after page of classification. I've detailed it extensively on this channel. People ask me, have you still doing hazard pay videos? I've done hazard pay videos every single day since the month of July, every single day at 4 o'clock. And so on Friday, I reported the president's tweets that I qualified, because they are, as hazard pay tweets. He said he wants to provide a second stimulus relief to frontline workers, which he said were medical, fire, police, and teachers. I said, this is great news for hazard pay. Oh boy, the confusion that apparently erupted for this channel was, LALATE, you're just saying that the only people that are entitled to hazard pay are those people? I weren't. I'm entitled to hazard pay. How dare you? No. Let's back it up. First of all, I'm not writing your bills. I'm not members of Congress. I have better weather out here in Los Angeles than being in DC. Thank you very much. But no, I did not write the hazard pay bill, first of all. Second of all, what the president said on Friday is his position about essential workers being paid on the second stimulus package. Not my position, and certainly not the Democrats' position either. No word to whether it's his position today, because everything sort of changes by the hour. But, that was what he said then. So a lot of people now think that that's the law, that that's the bill. No, I'm just telling you what he was indicating as to what should be happening for hazard pay. That's that. Okay, so what's going on with hazard pay? Well, hazard pay could become sort of that lyric in that Candy Burris and Tiny song No Scrubs, where it's sort of like the extra kid that's hanging around on the passenger side of your best friend's ride, because there's new calls to divest the massive second stimulus package of little parts that can be done very quickly. There's a lot, if you watched the video right before this, which I assume you did, I talked about how there's massive movement to get the second stimulus check out of the stimulus package and send it out by itself. There's movement to get an eviction moratorium taken out of it and send it out by itself. Now, why would hazard pay not come out by itself? Because it's too damn long. It's just a long part of the bill, and it can't be written short. I certainly trashed Caroline. She's like, this is like Teresa every time she shouts Caroline on New Jersey Housewives. Caroline, whatever her name is, from New York. I'm sorry, Representative Caroline. I just don't remember your last name. She wrote a 2-paragraph bill about the urgency to deal with Louis DeJoy, but couldn't figure out how to write a 2-paragraph bill as to getting your second stimulus check out. Very ironic. And so as we sit here today, hazard pay is likely not to come out of the second stimulus package. Let me clarify that again. Hazard pay is likely not to come out of the second stimulus package because it's a lot of words, first of all. And it is complex, it is detailed, it's highly contentious, as viewers have heard among themselves, that viewers just don't like this provision that employers apply for you, you don't apply for it. It calls for a funding of it, and it has to be funded by an agency. It's just a lot of detail in there. So when could it get approved? Well, it's still not law. So people still, like 30 people a day, still ask me, where do I apply? What's the application site for it? It's not law yet. What's the site I go to? It's not law yet. Not law yet. Oh. Oh, what does that mean? It means the money's not there for you. Oh, okay. So I'm sure after today I'll get 30 more people. Can I go get that $10,000 today? No, it's not sitting there for you. It's like, hey, here I am. Come and get me. No, it's just not sitting there yet for you. It will be, but it's not yet. Now, what you can maybe go get is some FFCRA. Hey, what the hell is FFCRA? I mean, it's just LWA, which just sounds like... sounds like an SWV lyric. LWA. Now we got FFCRA. Hey, it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We got, a few more acronyms to go, or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, so the Families First Coronavirus Response Act may be money that you're entitled to. And it's one of those things that I couldn't figure out where to put it in a video today, so I put it here. Because it's sort of hazard pay-ish, esque. Let me get to the details. If you're a parent and worked full or part-time, you may be able to take paid leave to care for kids at home through the FFCRA, CNBC reports. Passed in March, the Act grants 2 weeks, up to 80 hours, of emergency paid sick leave at 2/3 pay, up to $200 per day, if you're unable to provide work because you must care for a child under the age of 18 whose school or care provider is closed or unable due to the pandemic. Now, let me make very clear as I progress further in this. This is not PUA. This is not UI. This is not hazard pay. This is a separate thing that you can get. As someone's about to ask right in the comments, I can just see them about to type it. Does it conflict with my PUA and disqualify? No, it does not conflict with anything else that's out there. You can go get you some of this. Go get you some. This is for 2 weeks, up to 2 weeks, so up to 80 hours and up to $200 per day. So, I mean, you can do sort of the math really quickly with me. 2 weeks times $200 a day. I mean, you can see how much this is maxed out at, but it is some money. Parents can take this leave option so long as the school and daycare centers are physically closed. So a lot of schools were physically closed, as I just lost the script, earlier during the pandemic. And it is a provision that is out there for you to grab now. Now, the issue also with hazard pay as we go forward on the situation going into the early part of September now is what's going to happen with frontline workers. Well, Andrew Cuomo came out to discuss the implications of hazard pay today. You're in the flu season, everybody's sneezing, everybody's coughing, everybody has a runny nose. Who has the flu and who's possibly COVID positive? It becomes a much more difficult calculus, says Cuomo in a news briefing minutes ago, describing the situation of basically hazard frontline worker pay people in the next couple of weeks. Maybe God is good and he has us saved to this year. You've been through enough, but it's definitely a stressor on the system. It's going to add additional stress on the hospitals. It's going to add additional stress on the testing facilities, and it's going to add additional stress, in my words, to grocery stores, anyone front line. This is more reasons why hazard pay has to be done. I mean, do we really, members of Congress, have to see the frontline workers start to struggle again in September as the pandemic gets really bad with the flu season, as Cuomo's talking about? And then you have to think that, oh, maybe I should do something about that hazard pay bill that's been sitting around for 4 months. No, get to it now. Cuomo says they're going to have to do turnarounds and say to me, I can't do 100 tests anymore. I can only do 60 tests because I have to do 40 flu tests. COVID is not going to disappear from the planet, said Dr. Anthony Fauci minutes ago. And Robert Redfield, director of the Centers for Disease and Control Prevention, says the worst fall from a public health perspective is heading our way we've ever had. We're going to have COVID in the fall. We're going to have the flu in the fall. And either one of those themselves can cause stress on hospital systems. So, as we sit here right now and you wonder, what are we doing? It's cause of concern. The time in which to pass bills and get things done and make hazard pay law is now when the situation's not good, but it's not, outrageously out of control. Now, what is out of control? There's two parts that are really at the tipping balance of why hazard pay is sort of still sitting there, but not yet approved on a second stimulus package. There's the financial cliff, and then there's the medical cliff. The financial cliff is, it depends on who you talk to. I mean, we're clearly in a recession. Could we be heading to a depression? Have we crashed over the financial cliff? And how bad will it become? A lot of people say we've already crashed over the financial cliff, but the ripples of it will take time. Here's what I can tell to you based upon my personal experiences. The impact of a financial meltdown for purposes of the economy is not felt the same rate of speed in every part of the country at the same time. If you recall previous recessions, they hit on the East Coast first before they could be felt to the West Coast, and then the East Coast came out of them first, and the West Coast came out of them last. Things will hit at different speeds, and ultimately I hope that members of Congress understand that if they're from an elected state that just hasn't had the impact hit them yet, that they don't say, hey, hazard pay, I'll get to it later. I hope they just don't think that, because that ultimately doesn't make sense. Hazard pay is a lot of money. How much money is it? How would you get it? Where's it calculated and how do you do it? Let me do the math for you again. It's $10,000. It would land in your bank account as a lump sum if you've reached the threshold and you made $100,000 or less last year. If you made more than $100,000, it would be $5,000 in your account. If you don't reach the threshold, you would get whatever you're at now, and then $13 going forward per hour that you work as an essential worker. How do you calculate this lump sum? It's so much money, LA. How do I get it and where do you get it? You calculate the lump sum based upon the number of hours you worked as the pandemic started all the way up to the present, times $13 an hour. You include overtime, part-time, full-time, any type of time that you worked as essential worker. You include all places of essential work. So if you have multiple ones, you apply for multiple ones. And that's it. It's wonderful. Essential workers are defined in the bill, so you don't need to DM me and say, hey, I print purple shirts. That must be essential. I mean, it's essential for someone on YouTube, but I think it's essential too. Just don't ask me. There's a bill for it. The bill makes very clear what's essential, what's not essential, and they are frontline workers, grocery stores, liquor stores, pharmacies, restaurants, markets, Uber, Lyft, car, shipping, handling, warehouse, security, maintenance workers. It's very, very well defined in the bill. And then comes the worst part of the bill. There's always a but. It's like, I enjoyed dinner now. There won't be dessert because this one does not have dessert. The bill says that the employer must apply for hazard pay. You can't apply. Yeah, every time I say that, someone's like, what? Say that again, LA. You can't apply for hazard pay. I mean, this is why you have to watch the 13-minute mark of my videos. You can't apply for hazard pay. The employer must apply for hazard pay. And I get every question permutation about that possible, and I still have to answer the same way. You can't apply. Some people say, I'm self-employed. You can't apply. My boss has shut down business. You can't apply. My boss doesn't talk to me anymore. You can't apply. My boss ran off with my wife. You can't apply. You can't apply for the job, for the hazard pay. The boss must apply. Well, what if the boss doesn't apply for me? What do? You go to his house and you knock on his door and you say, hey boss, this is me. I watch this guy with the purple shirts on YouTube. He says I should go knock on your door and say, please apply for me. I think that's generally the only option available because the bill does not say they must apply, and if they don't apply, there's no recourse. What a great way to end the video on. I hate that provision. I really, really do. Mitt Romney has a counter bill that solves that problem. The problem with Mitt Romney's bill is that, there's a guy named Postmaster DeJoy, and he apparently is the focus of everyone at the moment and not hazard pay. Yeah, so send a letter to DeJoy and say, hey, I want my hazard pay. I just don't know if DeJoy is going to deliver this letter. Do me a favor, go to the front of this channel and hit the subscribe and alert button. I'm updating stuff literally by the hour. I'm updating stuff about what states are paying FPUC, now called LWA, which is the next video. I'm updating a lot of stuff literally by the minute, not just recording, but sending you important alerts. A lot of stuff happening. We're almost 200,000 subscribers. A lot of love in this family, a lot of excitement, a lot of wonderful things happening. We've grown as a channel, a lot of support for one another. Let's keep it going. Coming up next is FPUC. Please watch that video, because this one's going to be a big one that no one's going through the details like me, and I'm going to go state by state with you why this is really, really confusing. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay focused, and stay of LA for more.